It's Monday, the 10th of March, going back to chest day. We got chest, tiny bit of side delts, and triceps. Now you'll see that my routine is not going to change a lot throughout the time, because this is how you really make progress. You need to apply progressive overload to something, so you need to be doing the same routine over and over again. And the more advanced you are, the longer this period is going to last. I'd say minimum requirement would be 12 weeks if you're just starting out. But some of my training phases will last me like even 6 months at a time before I even contemplate about changing one of the exercises in there. Because the thing is, if you constantly change your routine around, you're basically starting from ground zero over and over again, and there is no momentum for you to really like build on. That being said, there are not going to be that many different splits you can do. So it's always going to be a fine-tuning exercise. And you'll see again, the more advanced you are, the more time you have to find out what exercises are working for you. And once you do find those, your main priority is just to get stronger and more efficient in doing them. You don't have to switch your routines around often. Woke up today a tiny bit blocked. So I feel like a cold is brewing inside me, which I really want to avoid, but I kind of feel it. It's gonna be an interesting workout. Right, 1 minute. So my warm-up is pretty basic. I start with some mobility drills, just move my shoulders around. Is that necessary? It's more like personal preference. It's taking me back in the days when I was doing like performance swimming, so I quite like moving them a tiny bit. And then I do 2-3 warm-up sets of the movement that I'm going to start with in a pyramid style. So what I do is I have something that's very light for 12 reps, medium for 8, quite tough for 4, and then I get into my 4 working sets. For my warm-ups, I rest 30 to 60 seconds in between them. And then for my working sets, I'll rest for 2 minutes in between. Okay, minute and a half, and we'll go. So again, when you set up for cable presses, you need a couple of dumbbells behind you so the bench doesn't get pulled back and you can still have leg drive against the bench. I set the bench at 90 degrees and then the cables at exactly shoulder height. So this will mimic the angle of a flat press. And I prefer cables over bars or dumbbells for various reasons. If you haven't watched my previous videos on this, basically everything is just better here. So one good bit is that on the negative, you go out and back, giving you a much better stretch, and on concentric, when you push forward and in, giving you a much better contraction at the top. It's something that you usually lose on dumbbells or bars, the peak contraction bit. Then, because of the freedom of movement, you can really put your shoulders exactly where you want them to go. So it will maximize your comfort and overall efficiency of the press. And to me, so I've been doing this now for 2 years. So I stopped benching with the bar over 2 years ago. I still have some dumbbells in my routine, but this is my main builder really, and it's been great for me. It's a nice setup, you don't need a spot. You always feel safe on it, so you don't have that fear factor that you usually have with the bar. So you can really push to failure when you're completely by yourself, which is ideal. I know it's annoying because you need a bench and a cable rack, but if you have the real estate for it, definitely do it. It's my favorite press by far. Never gotten injured on it in 2 years. While with the bar, I'd do like a block of 8 weeks or so, and then something would happen, usually my left back. So I'm very happy with this. It's here to stay. Okay, 2 minutes. So again, when you pick the weight up in here, because you can do quite a lot, you want to go very close to it, and then you use your torso to twist rather than trying to curl it with your arm, because you're going to strain your biceps easily if you do that. So keep yourself safe, save your energy. You twist in, and then go for your press. Okay, 2 minutes. Also, on the press, you always want to kind of like flick your lower arm into the cable, so you're always making contact with the cable from your elbow all the way down to the wrist. The moment you have space in between the cable and your arm, you'll be extremely wobbly. Extremely wobbly, so you need to like anchor yourself a tiny bit better, and you use that in your advantage. Okay, one more. One more, we've got a drop set. This is another thing that's great about cables. You can do the drop sets very quickly and without much hassle by yourself. Just convenience. Incline. Okay, off to incline now. So I dropped the bench at 45 degrees, cables all the way down, and the rest, the setup is exactly the same. Same idea, you'll pick up the handles with the torso twist, so don't use your arms into it. Now we got 4 sets of 12 here as well, with a drop set at the end as well. Fun.
Yes, I am actually.
Okay, in between. Oof. Okay, 2 minutes. Oof. Okay, one more drop set here. So with the drops I usually go down 30% with each drop and going to failure. And on the last one I'll even like go into forced partials for another like 5-10 of them at the end, just to squeeze everything out before we're done with the presses. Then we'll move into 3 sets of flies. So after this bit the session gets nicer, easier. I don't have to listen to metal and fry my brain out. But until then I need my demons. Oof. Oof. Ah. Ah. Oof. Don't worry about it. Okay, moving into flies now. So we'll put the bench back at 90 degrees, raise the cable height back to shoulder height. We got 3 sets of 15 on those. Let's go. Again on flies, to get more out of them. On the lowering side, tilt your palms forwards, you get more stretch on your pecs on the way in, and then on the way up, you bring them up and bring the pinkies together. So this tiny shift of, let's say, like 15 degrees of the arm will give you a tiny bit more engagement in the chest, making the peak contraction just a bit more efficient. So again, it's always about gathering all those like 1% from everywhere, and then at the end of the day, they'll compound and you get a hell of a lot more gains. So what I'll typically do is, again, I'll go for as many as I can with this form, after which, if I don't get the 15, I'll push it with normal flies, crab flies, so like fists facing each other, because they're a tiny bit easier. And if I fail with those, I just move into forced partials, because this is a safe movement to do that in. But we'll only track on the app how many reps I've done with the proper technique. Well, let's go. Right arm felt oddly lighter. Palms down, pinkies in. Resting for just 1 minute, 2 more sets. Palm covers coming off. Honestly, man, if hypertrophy is your goal, cable presses are the way forward. Like, they do everything dumbbells and bars do, but more and better. One more. Ow. Okay, into dips. So if you have a dip machine similar to this, where you don't have a belt, which is the worst thing possible for a machine like this, and you need to anchor yourself in, here's what I came up with. I gotta like slide one of my legs in between the seat and the back support from here. That will place you a tiny bit more forward, but that's fine because I wanted to target the chest anyway, so this works well for me. Then the leg that's behind pushes against the seat, and that anchors me down fully. And from here, you know the drill. Okay, moving into shoulders, just side delts this time. Again, I have the full shoulder day on Thursday where I focus more on them. Today it's just for sides. So I'll do 4 sets of 12 reps on each arm, and I'll do them like lying down at 30 degrees. So we change the most amount of tension point. Now we're gonna put it on the stretch, and that's why we lie down. On Thursday I do the side raises standing up, so we change the angle then. But this is a very interesting variation, which I'm quite enjoying at the moment in my training. I used to do quite a lot of side raises on cables not too long ago, so I've just swapped to this and it feels nice, it feels fresh. Not saying it's better, I'm just saying that I'm having more fun with it now. So to some extent, perhaps I'm putting in more effort because of that alone as well. Okay, let's go. Resting a tiny bit. 30 seconds only, and then we go. What do you need?
Ready for a squat?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't want to encourage.
Yeah, no worries, man, no worries. So how I set up on those is if I'm doing the left side, right leg comes first, then I push myself on the bench up until my armpit goes on top. So you have the most amount of comfort when you lie down. Then the support leg, I move it back so I get it out of the way, just to make my range of motion bigger with a dumbbell. Yeah. So again, the most amount of tension is gonna be when the arm is the furthest away from my shoulder joint, and that is at the bottom here. And then the more you raise up, the lesser tension you get in. So the hard bit, let's say, is like the first 30 degrees here, then it gets lighter. So that's why it's very important to also control the negative slowly on the way down. So you milk the benefits from that short, let's say, tension range as much as you can. Don't be surprised if you'll have to drop the weight a tiny bit from your normal standing raises. I find this angle a tiny bit more difficult, so your performance might drop, let's say, 20%. Plus minus, but around that. I mean, the pump, it's not bad for an athlete. One warm-up set on single arms. The last thing we'll do is overhead presses. Again, setting the cables at hip height, maximizing on the stretch. 3 sets of 12. And that's it for this workout. It's been a good day, smashed some of the numbers from last week. Incremental gains, but at this point in time, after almost 12 years of training, I'm not expecting huge jumps, especially on compounds. I reckon it will take me 10-15 weeks to see some real improvements in terms of how much weight I can push. On accessory stuff, that will move a lot quicker, I'm sure, but compounds are tough at this level. So when you're pushing against failure with each workout, it's difficult, but I like it, I love it, it's amazing. Well, thank you for watching. If you've made it all the way this far, if you enjoyed this video, you're probably gonna like this one as well. And as you well know, not too bad for a natty. Stay natty, boys. You can do it.